Gamla Ullevi is a football stadium in Gothenburg, Sweden, that opened on the 5th of April 2009. The stadium replaced the city's previous main football stadium, also called Gamla Ullevi, and is the home ground of GAIS, IFK Göteborg and Örgryte is. It is also the national stadium for the Sweden women's national football team. The new stadium was built on the ground of the now demolished old stadium. The construction of the stadium was surrounded by controversy regarding the cost of the project, the alleged low standard of the finished stadium, as well as its name. The first competitive match at the stadium on the 5th of April 2009 was also a derby between Örgryte and GAIS, attracting 17,531 spectators. The current attendance record of 18,276 was, however, set about a week later when IFK Göteborg played their first game at Gamla Ullevi against Djurgårdens IF. The stadium hosted the 2021 UEFA Women's Champions League final between Chelsea and Barcelona. The three clubs of the Gothenburg Alliance, GAIS, IFK Göteborg and Örgryte is, played the majority of their matches on the old Gamla Ullevi from its inauguration in 1916 until the newer Ullevi Stadium was completed in 1958 for the 1958 World Cup in Sweden. From that year most matches were played on the large stadium with a capacity of over 40,000. But as the attendance numbers decreased in the 1980s and early 1990s, and in connection with the removal of the terraces, calls for a move back to the old stadium was heard. After a renovation, Gamla Ullevi was from 1992 once again the home of the Alliance clubs. But playing in a stadium built almost 100 years ago was not ideal. Lacking in service capacity, security, and architecture, the terraces having poles obscuring the view for the audience. Propositions for a modernization of either of the two Ullevi stadiums, or construction of a new stadium were revealed in April 2002. 4 different plans were presented. Construction of movable seating on the short ends of Ullevi. 2 different ideas for renovation and expansion of Gamla Ullevi, or to demolish Gamla Ullevi and construct a new arena on that site. Other propositions in 2002 and 2003 included building a new stadium in Mölndal, a neighbor municipality of Gothenburg, a new stadium built on the site of the old stadium Valhalla IP, located between Ullevi and Scandinavium, and a third suggestion wanted to demolish Gamla Ullevi and move all football activities to the larger Ullevi, which would be rebuilt to a dome arena, with a rotatable pitch that would move it closer to the seats for regular season matches. Another plan was revealed in January 2005, and proposed a giant sport complex on the site of Valhalla IP, having both a football stadium with a retractable roof and an ice hockey arena built wall to wall, sharing several components such as pubs and restaurants. The cost was calculated to 700 million Swedish krona, and the complex would be owned by the 3 football clubs and the largest hockey club in the city, Frölunda HC. The proposition that was decided to be used was to demolish Gamla Ullevi and to build a new stadium on the grounds of the old. Municipal Commissioner Göran Johansson presented his plan for the new football stadium at the site of Gamla Ullevi, and the idea to make it the national stadium for the women's national team, to the contractor Higabgruppen, and in early 2005 architect Lasivdal got a confidential assignment from Higabgruppen to create a first sketch of the new stadium. Lasivdal said in a newspaper interview that the fact that it was an arena for women's football was Göran's way to get the municipality on the project. The Gothenburg Alliance had their annual meeting on the 6th of April 2005 and the board decided to support the plan. And on the 9th of April the Municipal Board of Gothenburg arranged a press conference to show the plans. The new stadium, inspired amongst others by NRGI Park in Aarhus, Aalborg Stadion in Aalborg and mainly Brøndby Stadion in Copenhagen, was to have a capacity of 16,000 to 18,000 and have open corners. The construction cost was estimated to 180 million Swedish krona for the stadium and a total of 240 million SEK including commercial areas in and around it. The debate in the media following the press conference was mostly about the open corners. If the surface should be grass or artificial turf, and what the name of the stadium should be. The contractor, Higabgruppen, were reluctant to close the corners of the stadium, claiming a very tight budget and possible growth problems for the grass if that was chosen as surface. The original plan was to demolish Gamla Ullevi after the 2005 season, and to open the new stadium at the beginning of the 2007 season. But the plan was delayed and Gamla Ullevi was not torn down in 2005. Instead, new plans called for the demolishing of the old stadium a few match days before the end of the 2006 season on the 1st of October 2006. But paperwork once again postponed the start and the demolishing of the old stadium started several months